Hello pattern lovers, welcome to yet another exciting tutorial, and today's video will be a detailed tutorial on how to go about a straight leg pant. In this tutorial, I'll be showing you one of the easiest method of drafting a straight leg pant. All you have to do is to pay close attention. And if that is what you want to learn, kindly watch this video to the very end and let's get right into it. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'll be making use of a pattern paper, my long measuring ruler. I have the smaller pattern master and a curve. I also have my measuring tape, pencil and marker. That will be serving different purposes in this tutorial. First thing I'll have to do is to, from the top of the paper, I'll be coming down 2 inches. I'll also be marking 2 inches from the center part of the paper this way, from the top all the way to the down of the paper. Go ahead and do the same thing. You can also do just 1.5, but to be on a safe side, you can just mark 2 inches, just the same way you see me doing it here. Then you're going to connect all the points to make it a straight line. Now I'm going to start from the top line and go down to my crotch level line, which is 10 inches, but I'll be adding ½ inch to that, making it 10.5 for ease. And if you don't know how to go about yours, you can simply divide your hip measurement by 4. Then I also go down to my knee line and then the length of the pant, that's my ankle length. Then for the straight leg or palazzo, you don't want it jump up, so you can add anything between 5 inches to 7 inches to your ankle length, and that would be the whole length for the pant. Okay, that way even if you wear a heel, it's going to like cover the heel, you know, those kind of pants that you like to see. I'm going to connect the lines and label them waistline, crotch line or crotch level line, knee full length, and then the other part will be the floor length. Now I'll come to the waistline and mark down my waist measurement divided by 4 plus extra 2 inches. The waist circumference divided by 4 plus extra 2 inches. I'll mark it down. Then I'll come to the crotch line and mark the same value. Whatever I have just on the waistline, I'll do the same thing on the crotch line. Then I'm going to connect these 2 points to make it a straight line. On the crotch line, I'm going to come out by ½ inch, 0.5 out on the crotch line. If you have a bigger hip, you can do 0.75 or 1 inch. The bigger your hip, the more you come out from that point. Then I'm going to start from that ½ inch and impute my thigh circumference divided by 2. The highest point of your thigh, you divide it by 2, and then you're going to add ½ inch for ease to the measurement. Then get the midpoint of this angle 90 here. You get the midpoint, you can use the angle 45 guide on your pattern master. Then you're going to mark 1 inch. Okay, for size 8 to 10 you can do 1.25 there, and then for size 12 upwards you can do 1.5 there. Okay, then I'm going to come in on the crotch line. I'll come in just 0.75. okay, if you'd be adding that, just come in there by ½ inch. Then I'm going to get the midpoint of that line that I have there, the crotch line this way. I'll mark it, and then also on that point I'll be coming out by 0.25. all right, then I'm going to connect all these points, the 1 inch on the crotch depth, then the midpoint of the crotch line 0.25, then on the waistline 0.75. Take your time and connect this point nicely so that you have a smooth curve. I'm pretty sure you know the essence of coming in on this point. I'll be saying a little about it. The whole essence is to either create a space for your lower tummy or to even eliminate any form of bulge situation that are likely to happen on the lower tummy for people who have really flat tummy. So for people who have flat tummy, they can come in as much as 1.5 there, and then for people who want to create a space for their lower tummy, they might need to just come in ½ inch there, or decide not to come in at all. The whole essence of coming in is to eliminate any form of bulge, make the fabric or the pant really fitted and flat from your waist all the way to the crotch. I don't know if you understand. But if you're trying to create a space for your lower tummy, you are simply going to use 1.5 on the crotch depth, nothing less than 1.5, and then you just simply cover it like that without having to come in on the waistline. I hope that makes sense. Now, from that point that I came in on the waistline, I'm going to start from that point and take the waist measurement divided by 4. If you'd be adding that to your pant, do well to also add that allowance after marking your waist measurement divided by 4. Then I'm going to place my cuff this way and connect from the waist to the crotch level line. The next thing I'll do now is to get the midpoint of the pant, and I'm going to measure from my thigh measurement divided by 2 plus the ease I added. I will measure it from the ½ inch I came out on the crotch level line. I hope you understand. Then I'm going to mark it. I'll now measure from that point that I just marked to the line I have on this pattern paper. That way it will be easier for me to mark it all the way to the down. And after making sure I have the same value all the way to the down, I'm going to place my wrong groove and connect it this way. And this will be the midpoint of the pant. Now from this point, we'll be taking the knee measurement. And for a straight leg pant, all you have to do is to divide your hip measurement by 4. Let's say my hip is 38, divided by 4 would give me 9.5. I'm going to share that 9.5, divide it into 2 and share it equally on both sides of this midpoint line. So 9.5 divided by 2 would give us 4.75. I'm going to make sure that I place 4.75 on the midpoint line of this pant, mark it, and then I'll mark the 9.5 on this other point. I'm going to extend that all the way to the down. Then if you want your pant really like wider, you can decide to add 1 inch to your hip measurement divided by 4. That's 9.5 plus 1, that would be 10.5. Then you're going to divide the 10.5 into 2 and share it equally on both sides of the center line of this pant. And whatever you have on the knee, you're also going to extend it all the way to the down. Then you're going to use your curve and connect from the crotch to the knee and also from the hip to the knee this way. You're going to place it the same way. Make sure it's really not curvy from the hip down. You don't want to have two hip curve. After that, I will highlight the line I have from the knee all the way to the length of the pant. Then I'm going to place my curve the same way too, from the crotch extension going to the knee this way. And you can see that the pant is already coming out so well. Do well to blend in the knee part on this side here. Then for people who want it contoured, they can place their curve this way, but that doesn't work for me. I actually do not like the that contour stuff. I like my pant, my straight leg being free from the hip, just after the hip all the way to the down. That's how I like it. If you're going for the contour fit, you can place your curve that way and curve it from the crotch level line all the way to the knee line. Now this point is totally optional because I know my crotch length both front and back. I'm going to measure the curve I have on this pattern. Then I'm going to compare it with my front crotch measurement. If there is excess on this pattern, I'm going to take it off on the center front. But if you're not sure, the front length is actually not supposed to be longer or the same length with the back, so you can simply come down ½ inch on this part that you see me coming down here. But for me, I'm simply taking off the excess I have from my front crotch measurement. Then on the side, I come up 0.25. You can decide to do ½ inch depending on how curvy you want your band to sit on your waistline, or how curvy you, or how rounded you want your pants to sit on your waistline. It's very simple. Now for the benefit of doubt, I know you might be wondering what will happen to my hip. What if it's not up to my hip measurement? I'm going to measure from the waistline to my hip length, and then I'm going to measure it to see if I have my hip measurement. For your pants, remember the back hip, you're supposed to take off ½ inch from your hip measurement divided by 4 and add it to the back hip measurement. Okay, but in case you're still doubting, you can simply from this line now take your hip measurement divided by 4. Then that would guide you and you curve or recurve the crotch if you're not sure. But trust me, for the female pant, you're supposed to divide your hip measurement by 4 and take off ½ inch and add that ½ inch to when you're measuring the back hip. I'll be dropping a very detailed female pant, like official or corporate pant very soon. Another thing I don't know if you noticed is that I didn't minus anything to get my vertical lines. That's because I want my pants to sit exactly on my natural waistline, and also it's easier for you to cut it off when you're done sewing than to trying to add to complete your measurement. I don't know if you understand. That would be all for the front. Now for the back pattern, I'll be doing that on the same pattern so that we see it clearly. I'm going to measure the crotch extension for the front, then I'm going to start from the crotch extension of the front and add the same value. After marking it, you can decide to add 0.25 or half inch for ease. That's if you want, but this works just fine if you decide to leave it this way. Okay, then I'm going to follow the same midpoint line I have on this angle. I will try to extend it so that it will contain the measurement I'm going to input there this way. Then I'm going to go in by 1.5 for my size. For people with bigger butts, you can do 2 inches or 2.5 on that point. Then I'm going to place my curve this way and connect the clutch extension to the clutch depth. Then I'm going to connect it to the center front this way. Remember, I'm going to the part that we came in on the center front, just like this. Then I'm going to follow that half inch I came down on the center front. I'll follow that point and go up by 1.5. 1.5 works just fine, not from in main waistline but from the part that I came down. That way it helps make the your pant rounded on the waistline and the back is not shooting out or too pointy. Okay, and I'm going to connect it to the side waist this way. Now I'll come to the knee. Whatever I have on the clutch extension, I'm going to minus half inch, or if you want your pant really wide, like wider than what you have here, you can just do the same thing you have on the clutch extension and mark it all the way to the down. But normally you're supposed to minus half inch from whatever you have on the clutch extension. Then you're going to place your curve this way and connect it from the clutch extension to the knee, and then connect it straight all the way from the knee down. And that's basically it. When you are done with all of this, if you have the space, you can simply go ahead and mark your half inch stitching allowance all around this pattern, and then later on we'll be tracing out the back pattern on a fresh pattern. But doing it this way will make it very easy and for you to see what the front and back looks like. Okay, if you want to add that, you're going to start from the point that you came in on the center front. From that point, you're going to mark your bust span, and then you take your dart there. But then if you want them to add a crease line, you know those pants that you see crease line on, you're simply going to take your dart on the center line of the pant. Okay, so that you sew it and then the crease line is going to follow that point. Okay, so place it on a fresh pattern, and then you're going to use your tracing wheel to trace it out, or better still, you pin it down and then cut the back out, whichever one you want. Either you trace it out, but I feel tracing out is like a lot more time consuming, so simply place it this way. I held it down with a, what's it called? Yeah, stapler. Yeah, I held it down with that. Then I'm going to cut it off this way, cut the back pattern this way, but make sure your pattern is not shifting. Hold it down very well, make sure it's not shifting, then you cut it out. Then if you want to add your zipper to the back, you're going to follow the curve you have at the back, measure down to where you want the zipper to stop, and then follow the same curve and add your 1 inch zipper allowance, and then you're going to connect it this way. Make sure the curve is following the center back curve you have on the pattern this way. Okay, then after that you're simply going to blend it into the clutch curve, or whichever one you want, either of these two end point that I did there, either one, just go ahead and do it, and then you cut it out. It's very simple. After cutting out the back, you will now go ahead and cut off the front part, and that's it. Your front and back pant is ready. You can keep this for as long as you want to make a straight leg pant, or simply add to your pattern museum. So that's it. After cutting it out, you should have something like this. You go ahead and transfer it to your fabric, and since you didn't add allowance on the pattern, you go ahead and add it while transferring to the fabric, and that's it. Here we've come to the end of this tutorial today. Do let me know in the comments if you gained something and if you'll be trying this, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.